Hey everybody, it's Caleb Crew with Caleb Crew Reports and Predicts, and today we're going to be going over the Canadian election. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and if you could subscribe to keep up with future content, it'd be greatly appreciated. So today we're going to be going over the Canadian general election, and so it looks like the Liberals have slightly recovered um, from the They have slightly recovered from the blackface slash brownface scandal that Prime Minister Trudeau was involved in, and the Conservatives they both lost a couple seats, but are still it's very neck to neck. The Liberals are up by 14 seats, so they're down a seat from what they were, but they of uh, of how many seats they were up, but they're still the Conservatives have lost a couple seats as well, but it's still very competitive. And so the Liberals are 156 seats projected. The Conservatives are at 142 projected. The Bloc Québécois is at 19 seats projected. The NDP is at 16 seats projected. The Greens are at 4 seats projected, and the PPC is at 1 seat projected. So it's still a very tight contest between the Liberals and the Conservatives. The Liberals definitely still have the advantage. You have to have 170 seats to get a majority, so they're definitely well short of that. But a lot can happen before the election. There's still a couple weeks. As we know, after there's scandal with the blackface, that anything can happen. So right now, the probability of winning still has the Liberals at 28% of winning a majority, 30% and 30% for winning the most seats, but not a majority. So they have a 58% chance of winning right now. It's more likely, but not a lot more likely, but it's slightly more likely that they will win, but not with a majority. The Conservatives have a 30% chance of winning without a majority and 10% chance of winning with a majority. So they're at 40% chance of winning. Odd-wise, it can still change, and it's still a tight race. And I think what this has shown is that Prime Minister Trudeau, even when he messes up, can still be a pretty effective campaigner, and that even though he did mess up, he's been able to guide them to a good place. While Andrew Scheer was kind of the safe bet for them, opposed to having Maxime Bernier as their party leader when they chose him. So this was something that he was made to do, was to guide them the way he has. This is kind of why they chose him to be the party leader, but he definitely has them on a good path, because if you would have told the Conservatives 2 or 3 years ago they were going to have a 40% chance of winning, they would tell you were crazy, because it looks like the Liberals definitely were coasting. Even a year ago, they would have told you were crazy that the Liberals are going to win in a landslide. So this is very good news for them. So then if we look here in the last 2 months of the seat projections, if you've seen that, a couple months ago that they were slightly ahead back in July, but then the Liberals took the lead in August and have just been going up, and then the Conservatives are getting close. They got close. They got really close last week, and then the Liberals kind of opened up, and now they're coming down a little bit more. So it's very interesting to see how this continues to go. On here you can, and we're not going to go through these, but when you're on the site, you can check all of the different scenarios right here of each region, how they're doing in each region. So British Columbia, for example, is a the Conservatives are doing very well there, and we'll go through them. In Alberta, the Conservatives, that's a Conservative stronghold, are doing very well in Alberta. In the prairies, conservatives are doing well there as well. Ontario, the Liberals are doing well, and of course, conservatives are trying to come back from them there, and they got a little last week. They kind of went up a little bit, but in Ontario, so they did that in Quebec, where the Conservatives do not do well in Quebec and have not been doing well in Quebec. The Bloc Québécois has taken over the Conservatives in Quebec, and the Liberals were up, but they have been dropping recently. Oh, sorry. And then we will go to Atlantic Canada, where the Liberals are up as well. So it shows just that the Conservatives are doing well in certain parts of the country, but the Liberals are only winning 2 regions, but they're doing very well there. And so that allows them to get the majority, and they're not being crushed in some of these places bad enough. The Conservatives need to really take it up. Real quick before we end this video, in American news, Senator Bernie Sanders today got a blockage and is getting operated on in the presidential race, and has suspended his his campaign events until further notice. Now, we will be covering this in my weekly roundup in a couple of days, but that's just a big shakeup there. And before I end today's video, just reminder on the Canadian election, it's a couple weeks out, so we're trying to do weekly videos. We may increase it, and we'll probably in our weekly roundup touch a little bit about some of the controversies that have been going on in the Canadian elections. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I would appreciate if you would hit that like button and also hit the subscribe button. It would mean so much. Thank you guys, and have a great day.